Is there any question?
Can you give any advice for beginners to Korean Sun Buddhism? 한국 선불교의 초보자한테 좀 조언 해주세요.
The beginner for Korean Zen. 누구세요? I asked them in Korean, who are you? So you probably heard the beginner's mind is Zen mind, and the beginner's mind is actually correct enlightenment mind. So I think you already have some, kind of notion of that teaching word. So when you say I'm a beginner, it's actually a great thing. If you truly understand what the beginner's mind is. Well, I would say already you came here taking time for 1 week of Kyol Che. For many people, as one person shared, in Paris, he practiced a long time in the past in a big, quite frantic city. How many people would actually try to investigate their true self in the large population, very civilized, circumstance. So that means, it's not easy for most of the people in the world. Actually, they may understand, but not many of them really try to do it. So perhaps, you don't need to try to look around, just yourself. You took this time as opportunity to see who truly you are. That's a beginner's mind. It's not easy. I would say it doesn't happen to many people in the world. Maybe that's why we have a lot of space still, but hopefully more sometime later. So yeah, the means actually the moment you got this big question, who am I? That's beginner's mind, and why in the Buddhism and the eminent teachers said that the beginner's mind is correct enlightenment mind. Because when I asked you in Korean or even in English, who are you? Who are you?
I don't know.
Yeah. So we say in our tradition especially, when you truly attain this don't know, let me add a little more word, that actually you don't keep any idea there. You just return to don't know, which we call that also here before thinking mind. There's no such idea, no especially opposite ideas like I, so that there is you, or good, so that there is bad, or correct, not correct, and even life and death. So when you say don't know, when I asked who are you, such question, then your mind immediately returned to before thinking. We named it here your true substance, your substance. So that's why this beginner's mind is a great start of finding your true self and also great enlightenment. So that's probably my best share about Korean Zen for a beginner. But of course, there is no such actually in Zen or in true nature. There's no Korean American. There's no Asian Western. There's no man, woman. There's no monastic or lay. Because the true nature, there is actually no such dualistic ideas. So returning to the point, which is your mind, is actually the beginner's mind. And depending on how often, how clearly you keep it, that means actually your practice and your enlightenment is always there. So anyway, hope that helps you. Are you a beginner, by the way?
Yes.
welcome, welcome, welcome to originally all beginners. Although our body or some background experience are all kind of various. Any other question? Just I met our local member who before this Dharma talk, because we have some work, in the afternoon with some members, and then one of them came actually to Zen Cafe. It says some sitting and some Dharma program for the visitors on every Sunday here. And he's kind of a middle-aged man, quite humorous. I know him very well. So we used to make a little, some play joke just. And then I asked him, so what is most enjoyable things for you these days, Kosanim? And he said, sitting. So I told him, in Korean we have a saying, you even don't lick your lips and lie. So, but he said that he also laughed, I laughed. But then he said, but Sunim, truly it is. And then I told him, truly it is. If, as one Pop Sunim said, like also Hong Kong, the Zen Center, I think that's one of the most busiest. That's one of the busiest district in Hong Kong. Really, really busy. And then the Zen Center is on the 5th floor of that building. And you can see if out of the window, if you do walking meditation. And then I think many people who join the retreat appreciate, the opportunity, how important it is for them to have. So even myself nowadays really enjoying sitting since that kind of chance is given to me. So that's also very not usual, I think, probably chance in life. What is a strong sitting, by the way? Because recently I saw this is some Zen Musangsa's teaching kind of piece talking about strong sitting. So I can see, probably except you said yourself as a beginner, but here I think everybody is quite experienced. And then sometimes if you still a little struggle with your sitting because of things going on in your mind, then I hope you remember the strong sitting means actually you don't hold anything in your mind. It's not just your, of course, posture. Posture is important, how to sit correctly, but the true strong sitting meaning is even if you have some feelings or mind keeps in, you don't touch it. And then that means actually you can just let go those kind of thinking. That actually indicates the strong sitting. So if you have that kind of strength, it's actually the most enjoyable thing, if you know the taste. Just as a reminder, is there anyone actually who struggles with the sitting still? No one, see? Yeah, I will evoke because you guys look. What's the problem with the sitting?
If we count amount of weeks that I'm sitting here, is first Kyolche for me, still the first Kyolche. So my body is some kind of still adapting, and if the mind is too active, the body is hurting. So sometimes it's enjoyable, sometimes it's just like the body is tired, the mind is tired. I'm tired of thinking. Yes.
If there are great pain with your body, like in your legs or wherever, that's very natural, and also there is some way for you to deal, right? So you can apply it. And the mind, again, thinking itself has no good, no bad. We ourselves make it good or bad, and then it will make it into suffering. So again, strong sitting means it doesn't matter what kind of emotion rise in your mind, you really try to let go. Only yourself actually make it good or bad and make it suffering. So, well, maybe it's not difficult to understand, but not easy to do it. But that's why also we practice. And at least I don't see anyone crazy yet. That means quite mature in dealing with all those kind of symptoms. So I think you are pretty okay. And there is someone else who still have a struggle with the sitting.
Yeah, right. For me, it's like what Jenya mentioned. It's like a lot of time is like we understand that like we make up all those opposite ideas, and then it's like we fall into like all those kind of like suffering like in our mind, and then at some point like we manage to like put it all down and just sit, which is very nice, and then like I think it's because of the habit. It just like we need to like keep working on that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I find.
Yeah, it's very normal. And as one person talked about, like I forgot. There's a very good part for that, but I just forgot later. Yeah, so that's very normal, I think. And then that's why it's very important you practice together with others, because as Sunim said, in the beginning, especially for those who have to prepare this kind of retreat, although our start was quite small group, still there are lots of work. And then in the middle of culture also things happening. But why actually it's important for all of us to practice together, because it's like, everyone is kind of a mirror for each other. So that's why practicing together sometimes, that gives you some kind of feeling, not easy, hard feeling, because you cannot just be comfortable as you wish. You cannot. Things are not convenient as you always want. If you are doing that alone at home, you will always find something more convenient and comfortable for yourself. But that's actually very risky, because that means actually it's very difficult for you to see your own karma. But when we practice together, there are if there is 15 people here, you have 14 mirrors. There is a mirror, each one. It reflects yourself. So, you have some thinking arise, good or bad, during the sitting, and then anyway, after 30 minutes, the head monk will hit the chukbi. one chance to break up your illusion. You have to just get up, no matter you like or not. At home, you may just drift, or there's no way for you to really take control. And then you take a walk. Sometimes you maybe take a look at maybe someone just in front of you walking, and wow, this person probably also have some difficulty. For example, or when we walk outside the balcony, you see some people like yelling around each other, how lucky I am. Or you suddenly see, oh, there's one Haengja is carrying maji or sweeping around the temple. Oh, am I just wasting time sitting on my seat? Because these people are working for this retreat. There are so many chances actually give you sometimes the inspiration, often actually inspiration, or give you, some kind of a moment to reflect yourself. This is why very important to practice together. There are lots of encouragement, inspiration, and also, there are many times you feel inconvenient, which means actually if you are very mature enough to digest it, you see what you really like and dislike. Because the very source of all the suffering you are dealing in life basically is from this like and dislike. When there is something you like, you think you are happy, but does it last forever? No way. Even a moment, it just swept to you dislike. So this feeling, emotion keeps changing even moment to moment. You practice in this kind of circumstance together with this many reflection, then slowly or fast, you see what's your karma. That we call that you become clear with your karma. Your karma, you made. So that means actually it's unavoidable in the perspective of principle of cause and effect. But if you become clear with your karma, why whenever I do this beautiful thing, this person gives me so bad look? Whenever I do, I think this is a beautiful thing, but this person always gives me bad look. And you start think, why? And first you're really angry. That guy is really mean and doesn't understand the beauty of life, or something like that. But then that keeps happening. And then some moment, maybe you cry, and then maybe you talk to the Tan Wol Sunim, who doesn't give really so many good advice. But then that keeps happening. Then someday you start looking to yourself. Oh, maybe I have a problem. Why this keeps happening all the same time with the same person? And then maybe you start ask with other people, and they say, I'm not sure. They don't tell you really directly. Okay, just one example. Then slowly you start looking into yourself. That means you are becoming clear with your karma. Because if you don't see your karma, no matter where you go, it won't be possible for you to see that. Perhaps, usually, bigger problem appear. Because our karma is like, snowball. It gets bigger and bigger if no one really gives that kind of notion. When you practice together, there are lots of chances like that. So it is important, and it's a faster way. Yeah, some people like to practice alone. Well, it's like maybe sometimes like these lonely sages. Yeah, it's possible, but it's super, super, super rare. Because when we are alone, it's probably more than 90% of the people just instinctively chase what we like, what's comfortable, convenient for me. Which means you only feed this karma that you have made that way, like and dislike. But this kind of retreat, as Sunim said, it's designed, very wise, more than 1,000 years, verified. Many eminent teachers proved, guaranteed, if you really have this sincerity for the path and wish to see your own karma and also see your true nature, then this setup will really support you to attain it. That's why we do this. So it's important to practice together. And if you have some struggling, for example, like the sitting, it's very natural and normal. And then only the thing I would recommend you to remind yourself, simply let go of dislike and dislike. The feeling, the body, the pain, it's quite a big deal at some point. I used to have lots of deal with that. One time, I used to practice in Korean Sonpang. There are many professional sitters. They don't move at all for 1 hour. And then the Korean monks. And then I was in Kibon Sonon with my Dharma brother, Hae Jae Sunim. He's much better sitter than me. I don't know, in mind. Joking. I'm joking. Don't tell him. So one time, because I was not good with the sitting that time, then I always had a terrible pain. And that also then starting with my joint, and then that also affects my stomach, and then everywhere. You probably understand. Literally everywhere. Sorry. You could use, you really give me this feeling, pain. I'm sorry. But I understand because I had that. It was really, everywhere. First it started somewhere and it goes out there and then it just spread everywhere. And even inside, So I was so discouraged. I was actually desperate. And then during the break time, lunch break time, I told my Dharma brother, Hae Jae Sunim, I think maybe I cannot become a Zen monk. So there is some time that you have to do. Now, I still have pain. It doesn't bother me. Some people understand that. All the practitioners. You still have pain. It doesn't bother you. So I guarantee it because I went through that. I still have pain. I don't know how that happened. But so pain, physical pain is like that, Okay? So also I believe, some these older practitioners, they understand it. So you just keep trying it, and then we used to say the Zen practice is more like, it's also kind of teaching word that, how do you say in English, maum poni, mind. It's more like a mind oriented. It's more like your mind work. In my Konglish, mind work. It's more like your body work. It's more like your mind work. Zen practice. Which means what's going on in your mind is more important. So that's why when I talked about this strong sitting, true meaning is not just actually your body posture, inside yourself, whether you can just let go or not. That's a strong sitting. Any emotion, any feeling, any checking mind, appear, you drift to that, Even if you sit like for 1 hour up straight, your sitting is not real stuff. So letting go in your mind anything, moment to moment, even during the sitting, that's really strong sitting. I hope everybody can try that. Any question? Yeah.
Just now you mentioned about the mind work.
Mind what? Mind work. Yeah.
Yes. And then I think it's like a lot of people will also have that kind of ideas. And then I also like quite a lot of time actually, like when I start to sit, and then I would think it's kind of like the things that I have to do inside. And then I will start to analyze things.
Analyze.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of really like what you say, like really doing is like let go. And then like I will like kind of like into the turbine, and then it's like get lost and all sort of things. So do you have any suggestions on like, because it's like doing the mind work, like what can you advise to make sure that we are doing it correctly instead of like just.
When you actually say analyzing, we named it analyzing. The thought, the root is same. And we named it all different way. Analyzing, checking, discriminating, or fantasizing it. We make everything, even categorize. And we think we have that kind of problem. Oh, I have like an analyzing problem. Or I have a checking mind problem. So that's exactly what I try to mean. Thought, thinking itself has no good, no bad. Well, it can be analyzing, it can be checking. But only when you start thinking, oh, I'm doing this, I'm no good. And then you really start to holding this, feeling of, this feeling and emotion to that thinking. Then that becomes really a problem. So, sometimes we probably have to analyze. Sometimes we'll have to check. Like, head monk have to keep checking the time to hit the chukpi in time. That's also checking. Or sometimes, some people make noise or doesn't behave during sitting, then he'll have to check. It's also checking, has no problem. And even for myself, sometimes I will have to check if do I actually bother someone or not. But you have to really get what I try to mean when we say this, you start holding the thought. Any kind of thinking will arise during sitting. And it's not good, not bad. But when we start holding it in, or checking, this is good or bad. And that really gives you a feeling of being lost or confusion. And then when chukpi hit, you stand up, this practice is bullshit. Because what is this, you feel like completely lost. That means you were checking yourself so much during this sitting time. Chukpi hit, everybody stand up, walk, very simple. Oh, anything can happen. But why did that happen, at the end of the sitting, when you, what am I doing here? That means you have been checking a lot. So be careful with that. It will keep arising, thinking never stop. But you can be completely free from that thought when you don't check, good or bad, those things. Well, I hope it makes sense anyway. But I think just what I'm answering, I also found a very interesting, way to, see your practice. Yeah, like at the end of each sitting, when chukpi hit, if you have this kind of feeling of being lost or confusion, then encourage yourself the next sitting period, you would really try to let go, let go, let go, no matter what kind of thought arise. Did I give you more thinking?
Thank you. It's very helpful.
Any other question? Sure.
Sorry for the multiple questions.
Yeah, no.
So before coming on this retreat, I was able to finish the book Dropping Ashes on the Buddha by Seung Sunim. And before coming to Korea, I lived in Portland, Oregon. And I went to this Thai temple and I learned Vipassana meditation. So right now, I have like different techniques of meditating. So sometimes I would switch between focusing on my breath to thinking about the don't know mind. And I would keep rotating back and forth. And I would, ponder over the kongens that was discussed in the book. Like, what was my face before my parents were born? And I keep rotating between these 3 different, styles of meditation, thought processes. So I'm not sure if I'm doing this right.
So at least you actually see you are rotating that, practicing techniques. And first of all, does it bother you a lot? No? Good. then you have no problem. You have no such problem. Because we also here, we do bowing, we do chanting, we do kongan practice, we do sitting meditation. We have lots of actually techniques. So if you actually are fine with that, basically no problem. But sometimes, so that's why kongan interview also very important, because there is a chance for teacher to actually check if your comfort with all the techniques are actually working or not working. Maybe it's just your idea, you think it's working. Because especially in Zen tradition, the 2 things very important. Yeah, samadhi, but you have to be very clear with the moment. For example, Zen Master Sung used this word, like a lost mind, become one mind, and then clear mind. Yeah, it's also a teaching word to help you to understand. So of course, lost mind, easy to understand. There are many things like when you feel lost, you're very confused, your mind is not clear at all, so kind of messy. That's lost mind. But when we chant, let's say, you chant maybe Kwan Bosa, or you perceive your breath, like doing Vipassana. So you completely becoming one this breath. And even if you are doing in the Namdaemun Shijak in open market, so busy area, you don't lose this perception of your breath. Because your mind is oneness, completely one. Here we used to compare with the chanting. When you do Kansen Bosa, you completely become one with this Kansen Bosa sound. So lost mind and become one mind, right? But in Zen, one more step necessary. Not just in Zen, it's more like the core teaching of Buddha is a clear mind. Your mind is very calm and like a samadhi, one mind, but you have to be very clear. Let's say like there's a baby, but you are also, you really want to practice even if you are taking care of the baby. So you start perceiving your breath, and you completely became one with his breath, nothing else there. And the baby is crying, dying. But because you completely become one, samadhi, you don't care. Not you don't care, you don't recognize even. You don't have clarity with the situation, right? So clear is very important. So the practicing technique, all the 3, fine. You can choose only one. Maybe you can do with 2. Yeah, you can rotate to 3 if it doesn't really hinder you. But we'll have to see if that keeps you clarity each moment. So in Zen, one way to check it is Kwan interview with teacher, okay? So if you now keep doing it and then have no problem with your daily life and with your mind, that's okay. So, for example, where will you go after you die?
I was told.
Yeah. So some question like this, you can answer with what you learned or with your understanding. But basically, actually, you have no answer, right? So the clarity means now how will you actually respond to that kind of question, which means in daily life, if some situation like that happens, how you respond to that. So that's about like a clarity. So anyway, regarding the 3 techniques, of course, I would recommend to choose one, maybe at least for this week while you retreat. And then you keep trying that. In my experience, someday I face some question. But to me, in my kind of capacity, it doesn't happen because I did only 1 week. Perhaps I did maybe a few years, sincerely. And then some question appear while I'm doing that kind of practice. So then we can talk more, okay? So you will have to stay in touch with us for a long time. Okay. Any other question? Yeah, one last.
Sunim, I would like to ask about lay life and society and people. So here during retreat in Musangsa we are silent, and I have some kind of feeling that we are one, we are united. And sometimes in lay life I have also this feeling of being united with people, just I'm with you, you're with me. But a lot of time I feel some kind of separation with people. Everyone is working in the programs, thinking, and it's just like something between us. And when it's going about friends and family, so it's like, can we be just together now? Just stop it. I mean, I'm the same. I'm also thinking, that's it. But how to deal with this feeling of separation with people, especially with close one?
Yeah, well, you say that's indeed lay life, but it sometimes happen probably in monastic life too. But so because we're all human, and I think actually you touched a very important point. When you asked the question, I just immediately thought about. That's why it's very important you digest substance, truth, and function. I think you asked me one time, someone you really love, but the person is in really big trouble, like maybe very ill, sick, and you cannot do really much for the person, and you feel this suffering, kind of pain, right? So then at that time, I think I told you, see like the nature, there are like trees and the bird and the flowers, there are shade on the street. Originally, as we used to say here, the substance is the same. That's why you feel connected. Especially when you're in the retreat, you can really feel this connected, I'm you and you and me originally, we call that substance, this point. Because originally, everything in the universe share the one substance. So that makes total sense. When your mind is really calm, you are connected with everything. And now, when that substance is very clear, very empty, so to say, then truth appears. Yeah. We used to say like the sky is blue and the tree is green. And that means also your mind very empty, everything clearly appears as it is. I'm wearing this big robe and the bold hair. You have blonde, long, beautiful hair. You will go back to Switzerland after. Everything becomes very clearly appear as it is. We call this truth. This truth clearly appears as it is only when the substance is very clear. Your mind is kind of empty. Nothing there tainted. So that you see, you hear, you smell, you think, everything reflected as it is. Why do I say this? Because then you will understand what to do. So feeling of this separation means we all have that. But why does it happen? Only when we don't digest this. Well, this is also word, so it's hard to really get it into your kind of consciousness. But, that's why our practice is very important. And as Zen Master Sahn try to help us to understand in word is substance, truth, function. It's all about, usually in life, what should I do? What should I do for myself? What should I do for this, feeling of being lost? I live this with my best, partner or friend, but why still am I feeling separated and lonely? That indicates we don't know what to do. Not very often, maybe probably. To some people, it sometimes happens. For some people, it often happens. And then it turns into suffering because when you get lost or being separated, you don't know why does this happen? So now here's the theory. Originally the same. Only your mind when it's not truly empty so that you don't understand what to do means function, truth, substance, truth, function. All the nature and usually the animals do it. They exactly know what to do. Right? Not very sophisticated, but they know what to do when they need something and when they are scared But human beings have lots of checking mind, so usually get lost. So very important. That's why this practice is important. What we do here, during the retreat, especially, is trying to empty our mind, which means we try to get this point, getting clearer, clearer, stronger, stronger, so that we can see, hear, smell, think clearly, which means we attain the truth, so that automatically we know what to do for each situation. Then this feeling of being separated or getting lost is not a big problem then. Less and less. And sometimes maybe you can even use it if you become the master of that. So that's what I would like to say to that. So this practice, when you have a chance, try. And when you go back to your place, remember, originally everybody connected. When you have this emotional problem, especially about this feeling of separation, something like, maybe you don't really reflect, your mind is not empty, so they cannot reflect things as they are, so that you don't know what to do with this person. I'm with him, but why am I feel so separated? Good luck. Come again when you feel like bring him also. Okay, so I hope we all try together. This is why it's good to practice together. It's not about like I'm feeling better than probably she is, but we can share something. So thank you for coming and all of your trying.